In this rather ordinary house in Chaclacayo, Peru, an extraordinary man cares for sick and destitute children. My name is Jerry Stroud. While making this film, I lived in this house for 15 days. And in that short span of time, I fell in love with more than 50 kids, all patients of a saintly doctor from America who has dedicated his life to caring for very sick kids who are too poor to be able to get adequate medical care. The doctor's name is Tony Lazara, and the house is known as Hogar San Fransisco de Asis, the home of St. Francis of Assisi.
Victor's my boy. Now, Victor, somos amigos? ¿Sí? ¿Cómo me llamo? Doctor.
Inside this house, pain and suffering are nursed by love and hope. From the day he arrived in Lima, Dr. Tony Lazara has never lacked for patients. The severe poverty of the shanty towns give birth to a host of illnesses that plague the children. Tuberculosis, chronic diarrhea, cerebral palsy, leukemia, malnutrition, and cleft palates, to name only a few. Hogar San Francisco de Asis is a simple 3-story building that pulsates with countless stories of broken lives that are being healed. On average, about 50 children live in the clinic home, including a dozen infants. All the medical care, including drugs and surgeries, are offered free of charge. The kids pay nothing. They can't. Their parents are among the poorest of Peru.
What did she say? Doesn't hurt.
The children are given 3 hearty and nutritious meals a day, also provided for free. Dr. Tony also pays for their education while they are under his care. Children too sick or too immobile to go to school receive daily lessons in the home by 2 teachers, one who is there all day long and one who comes for a few hours at night to tutor all the kids.
This work requires a constancy. You get up in the morning and you think, my God, there's 200 things to do this morning. I've got kids coming in, I've got to go and clean, I've got to pay the help, etc., etc., etc. And so I say, God, it's in your hands. You want me to do this? I'll do it. But you're going to have to help me. And he always does. Things that seem impossible in the morning, and in the evening you get up there and you say, I did it, or we did it, as better said. When I was at Emory, when I was teaching, I had a lot of infrastructure there. There was a lot of, friends, and the high-tech equipment that we had, and recognition from the academic community, that was all there. So faith wasn't really that necessary, because I saw it as something that I achieved on my own. But here, you can't do that. You can't achieve things on your own. You have to really depend, because at times, things seem impossible at times. How am I going to do this? And so I say, well, God, if you want me to do it, that's fine, but you have to help me. And he always does. And I've always been able to do things that were seemingly impossible. I've always come through.
¿Está Víctor? Sí. Soy María. ¿Cómo estás, Víctor? ¿Qué estás haciendo?
This is Victor. He is 4.5 years old. Victor was born in a jungle port city. Severely deformed at birth, he has no arms, and one of his legs is truncated. Victor was suffering from severe malnourishment when he was found by an Italian missionary sister who brought him to Dr. Tony for treatment. He was 2 years old when he arrived at the Hogar. Victor is perhaps the most engaging kid in the Hogar. Everyone falls in love with him. While Victor has blossomed with Dr. Tony, a dark cloud still hangs over him. His father is in prison for trafficking narcotics. He does not call Victor. And Victor's mother, who occasionally works as a barmaid or in the fields picking crops, has not contacted Victor in over 8 months. Victor has nowhere to go. The Hogar San Fransisco de Asis is his home. Dr. Tony knows Victor will always be in his care.
This place, I mean, you can't have 50 children in a home without seeing, without a celebration. I mean, it is a celebration. These kids are constantly playing, like you can hear them now in the patio, laughing and playing very spontaneously. They are celebrating life. Their love is unconditional, just totally unconditional. They accept what we give them. Once a month, we celebrate the birthdays of the children for that particular month. In other words, this month we're celebrating the birthdays of all the children that have a birthday during January. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're all sitting around here in this table. Christmas with Bing Crosby.